worrying about Ishimaru in the morning, but if the murder took place that night, wouldn't he have enough time to clean himself up and get back into his room before?
Well, let's go over the times now that you say that. The body was killed at was pronounced dead at approximately 11:04 p.m. at night. Nighttime is at 10 p.m. Now, the body was discovered at 6:20 a.m. by Sakura. So, I guess there's a lot of time in between. You?
Ishimaru, where were you last night?
Last night, in my room, I was studying. I have to keep up with my school agenda, thank you.
Objection.
Didn't Ishimaru just say he was sick last night? Yeah. I can multitask.
He was obviously awake because he was up to give Asahina the key.
You?
Ishimaru, if you have enough energy to study, I think you have enough energy to murder someone.
I think he used his energy on something else.
I know I feel like
You in the back. Right there? No, I'm calling you. Yes, you.
I think you're trying to frame Asahina.
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
He's just receiving the evidence.
Thank you, Aniki.
Was Asahina still
Thank
sick?
you, Aniki.
How are you feeling? How are you feeling?
I'm kind of still icky.
I'm sorry. Who? You.
I have a question for the person who I forgot his name. I forgot his talent.
You? Hinata.
I'm sorry. I have a question about your testimony earlier.
Yeah.
You said you looked out, right, and saw someone.
Yes.
Where did you look out?
I looked out my door.
Alright.
I opened my door, I looked out to see if anyone was like coming to kill me, and then I saw Kumaida, and he was going to his room, but I closed my door and locked it just in case he was coming to kill me.
Why would you even open the door?
No. You saw her to struggle when you went by the pool. Where did you go after that?
Very suspicious.
I waited a while to see who was there with the struggle, who the culprit. But because I couldn't see who it was since it was dark, I just went back to it.
Why didn't you tell me?
I figured out that this
It's not.
Togami, if you knew someone was getting their head bashed against the locker, did you not? So you didn't tell anyone else that, you just waited for it to be discovered by someone else?
Sorry, I didn't hear what I said.
You said that you'd heard, like, I don't know if you said you saw it or you heard it, but someone getting their head banged against the locker, correct? And you didn't do anything about that, you just went back afterwards to your room? Well, no, what I'm suggesting is I would think you would go to check out if anyone was dead in there.
Isn't that like stereotypical horror movie though?
He
Like
probably
kind of
ended
smart.
dead.
I feel like everyone's just boom, 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 blaming everybody. I want to ask Sakura, what were you doing in the pool that early?
I was working out, of course. I was doing my
But in the pool?
No, there's weights by the pool.
You have to go through the pool area to get to the locker rooms.
That it was room, locker room, then pool.
It is.
And the body was found in the pool.
Well, occasionally Sakura works out with Asahina. Swimming's very good exercise.
With Asahina. Asahina wasn't there.
But Asahina wasn't there, of
Yes,
course.
she was sick, and
Yeah,
I
did
had
that.
asked her to come train with me, and she said no because she wasn't feeling well.
Maybe you're just trying to retain the memory.
I was sick. You.
There was a trail of this powder from the nurse's office to the pool.
Yes, but it's plausible it's vice versa. There's really no
Right.
way to tell.
Which locker room did it go through?
It didn't go through any of the locker room. It actually stopped at the pool entrance. You.
Were there any dents on the lockers?
Yes, the locker was been to the point where you can't close.
I feel like the fact that it's Asahina's locker doesn't really matter, especially if we assume that the culprit is male because they were able to enter the men's locker room, they probably wouldn't have any idea of knowing that was the locker that Asahina usually used. It would just be any other locker.
So then we card was put in there by someone who wanted to frame a scene and is trying to put all the blame on the scene. So all these signs point to one person, but it seems a little too obvious that it would be her, because that would just be someone. I think someone is trying to frame her.
Oh, well, girls aren't very good at murdering.
So you just assume they was male again.
Is there any plausible way that the nail could have been slipped under? Because it was found in the boys' entrance. So it could have been just slipped under farther and it
Unfortunately, no. Well, I mean, it could have been slid under, I guess, but it was found near the entrance near the pool.
Oh, near the pool.
Well, there's the pool and the boys' locker room. They went around this way, and the nail was found at this entrance.
Well, you said that there was one nail in the men's room.
Yes, that was it.
This is the one they were talking about. Just into the entrance, right?
Yes. No, not the entrance of the pool, but the entrance. Okay, like if you're in the pool and you're exiting to go to the boys' room, you go, or the boys' weight room, you go through the door there, which also leads to the pool, and the nail was found there.
So they could have slipped it from under.
Yes, I can give you a good visual. I'm a very good artist. Now you see. Oh. It's supposed to be a pool. Thank you. Okay. Oh. You know what? I'm afraid I want to know. Now, you see, this is the pool and this is the pool. The actual entrance to the pool is through here, where you found a machine gun right here. Now, the entrance to the, if you want to go to the girls' room, there's one door where you go right here. You go around, and there's another door right here leading out to the actual pool itself. Now, if you go around this way, there's the boys' locker room, where the boys would go in. And there was another door right here. The nail itself was actually found near this entrance, rather than this one. Yes.
Okay, I'm just gonna kind of confirm. No one else knows about the poison other than Lennon, right?
Why? Well, I guess now that you have information, a lot of people know about it. You?
What they were trying to say earlier, I don't think you picked up on, was what stops the girl from going through the girls' locker room into the pool, turning around to where the entrance of the male's room is, and then slipping the nail under from that way.
Oh, I understand. I guess nothing's stopping them.
Well, that could also be a possibility.
That is also a possibility. You are the way back there. Were there any footprints in the trailer top? There was no footprints. You?
Okay. So at the time the victim was killed, people were out of their room running around, correct?
There were a few, which
They're
is
not,
technically...
but they're not supposed to be, correct?
Well, technically they can.
It's not an
The 10 p.m. rule was actually just a decidable against the students.
So who would be the one? Who would be the one student that would be moving around at that time that nobody would think anything odd of, like a hall monitor?
I didn't hear that.
Wait, we decided it, well, the majority of us decided to agree upon not wandering around that night. I don't think
that rule kind of just kind of goes clean.
Yeah, like it's not, you figure someone who honors rules wouldn't disobey that. Especially someone.
Just so I have this clear, she was locked in the boys' locker room and scratching at the door with the broom?
No, she was at the pool entrance. This one.
Okay.
The scratch marks were found right here near this door.
And, like, you're allowed in the girls' locker room if you're a boy, if someone lets you in, or?
Well, in order to get to the girls' locker room, you have to be either a girl, you have to have a deceased person's ID card that was a girl, or the girl would have to be with you, I suppose.
Okay.
It's very difficult to get in, I've tried.
I thought that the reason for the ID card rule that a boy can't get into the girls' room is so two of them couldn't be in there at the same time, according to Monokuma. So, well, according to Monokuma, let's pretend that, I don't know, let me just go through this. So only boys' ID cards access the boys' locker room, and only girls' ID cards access the girls'